In this podcast episode, clinical psychologist Dr. Nicole LePera delves into the profound impact childhood experiences have on our nervous systems, emotional patterns, and adult relationships. She explores the concept of emotional home, attachment styles, coping mechanisms developed in childhood, and the necessity of reconnecting with the body for healing. The discussion also includes practical tools for self-awareness, reparenting the inner child, and navigating growth within relationships. Dr. LePera's holistic approach offers insights into breaking generational cycles, embracing vulnerability, and fostering both personal and collective transformation. Dr. LePera begins by highlighting the deep repercussions of growing up with unexamined or unmet emotional needs. Childhood shapes many unconscious patterns that persist into adulthood, such as emotional overreaction or suppression, difficulty setting boundaries, and identity fusion with certain roles or survival behaviors. She points out how these unresolved early experiences contribute not only to psychological symptoms like anxiety and depression, but also to physical health issues. This chronic stress of living according to outdated, survival-based rules burdens the body physiologically, underscoring that childhood wounds are not just mental, but somatic. Exploring the human longing for home, Dr. LePera explains that this feeling is not necessarily tied to physical places or tangible achievements, but to a fundamental sense of safety and emotional attunement that is often missing internally for many adults. Despite having careers, relationships, or family, people frequently feel alone and disconnected because their early emotional environments lacked the security that defines true home. This unmet emotional home drives adults to seek fulfillment externally, often through dysfunctional patterns or substances, in an attempt to recreate what they never had internally. The core of emotional development occurs in childhood when a child is fully dependent on caregivers, not only for physical needs, but for emotional regulation. Dr. LePera stresses the centrality of emotional attunement, caregivers' sensitive presence that helps the child learn to soothe and manage distress. Inconsistent or absent attunement forces a child to adapt by modifying their expression, suppressing feelings, or detaching as a survival strategy. Because the nervous system favors familiarity, these adaptations become default patterns, even if they are maladaptive, making change difficult despite adult insight. The podcast touches on classic attachment frameworks, explaining anxious, avoidant, and disorganized attachment styles as different responses to inconsistent or unsafe childhood emotional environments. An avoidant attachment often develops when a child experiences emotional neglect or suppression, leading to dissociation and withdrawal from intimacy. Anxious attachment emerges when connection was inconsistent, making the child hypervigilant to cues of potential abandonment. Disorganized attachment results from a caregiver simultaneously being a source of safety and threat, creating confusion and fear around closeness. Dr. LePera emphasizes that secure attachment remains rare due to generational deficits, but can be cultivated through healing and healthy relationships. Children adapt survival-based habits reflecting their earliest experiences, which continue influencing adult behaviors, especially in romantic settings. For instance, a caretaker role in childhood might translate into people-pleasing in adulthood, while a status-focused parent might unintentionally groom a high-achieving child whose self-worth is tied to external accomplishments. These patterns often obscure genuine needs, causing individuals to seek validation or safety through outdated scripts. Recognizing and becoming mindful of these habits is crucial for breaking free and fostering healthier relationships. Dr. LePera identifies several types of emotionally immature parenting styles, such as the explosive parent who evokes fear and hypervigilance, or the emotionally absent parent who is physically present but psychologically distant. She also discusses peer-like parents who blur boundaries by relying on the child for companionship or emotional support, leading to role confusion and difficulties with boundaries in adulthood. Each style teaches different survival responses that shape a child's nervous system and relational templates, forming the blueprint for later adult interactions. The conversation addresses parentification, where children are forced into caregiving roles, either practically, running the household, or translating for immigrant families, or emotionally, by supporting a struggling parent. This premature maturity and responsibility often would come with praise for being mature for their age, but later manifests as overfunctioning, difficulty asking for help, and identity fusion with caretaking roles. Recognizing parentification is vital in healing unmet developmental needs and reclaiming childhood. Dr. LePera encourages moving away from deficit-based thinking that labels individuals as damaged or broken due to childhood experiences. Instead, she advocates for a curiosity-driven inquiry focused on identifying unmet needs, current and past, that these coping patterns were designed to fulfill. Viewing symptoms as adaptive survival mechanisms creates a more compassionate lens and opens the door to self-care and intentional change rooted in understanding rather than self-judgment. Reparenting is described as the daily, conscious practice of offering oneself the love, compassion, safety, and validation that were missing in childhood. It involves regular check-ins with the body and emotions, cultivating presence, and responding to internal needs with kindness and care. Dr. LePera emphasizes that while reparenting looks different for everyone, it starts with awareness and embodiment, learning to recognize stress signals in the body and using practices to calm and nurture oneself. The podcast underscores the necessity of working somatically alongside cognitive insight. Emotions and trauma are stored in the body, often as tension, constriction, or dysregulation in the nervous system. For change to take root, there must be expanded bodily capacity to tolerate discomfort and regulation of autonomic responses. Dr. LePera discusses practical tools such as breathwork, movement, and gentle somatic habits like stretching or natural exposure to nature, which support nervous system regulation and facilitate emotional integration. Dr. LePera references the landmark ACEs, Adverse Childhood Experiences study, which correlates childhood trauma with adult psychological and physical health problems, including cardiovascular disease, diabetes, autoimmune disorders, and cancer. This research validates the mind-body connection and demonstrates how chronic childhood stress imprints on biological functioning. She also highlights epigenetics, illustrating how trauma impacts gene expression across generations and how positive environments and relational healing can reverse these patterns. An important theme is managing the relational challenges that arise when someone embarks on healing, but their partner, family, or friends do not. Change can provoke discomfort or resistance in others who are accustomed to the old dynamics. Dr. LePera advises setting new boundaries, cultivating patience and compassion for loved ones' reactions, and focusing on personal accountability rather than trying to enforce change externally. Sometimes growth necessitates renegotiating or even ending relationships that no longer support one's well-being. Given that no single relationship can meet all emotional needs, Dr. LePera stresses expanding social connections intentionally. Cultivating diverse relationships to fulfill different needs, whether emotional intimacy, shared interests, or companionship, broadens support and enriches healing. She also notes the role of modern technology and online communities in helping individuals find resonance and belonging that may be lacking geographically. The conversation explores the double-edged nature of vulnerability in the age of social media. While sharing one's story can build connection, foster attunement, and inspire others, it also requires discretion and preparedness for varied reactions. Dr. LePera highlights the importance of boundaries, trust in one's audience, and being grounded enough to navigate misunderstandings or criticism. Vulnerability is a powerful force for healing, but must be wielded thoughtfully to protect emotional safety. Among the tools Dr. LePera suggests are tuning into moments when reactions feel disproportionate to discern past from present triggers, and reconnecting with one's inner child through sensory recall or photographs. Visualization, meditation, and sensory engagement help bypass intellectual defenses and foster empathy toward the vulnerable child within. These practices soften self-criticism and set the stage for compassionate reparenting. Healing reconnects individuals with inherent qualities of childhood, such as curiosity, playfulness, creativity, and joy. Dr. LePera shares her own journey from a serious, achievement-driven child and adult toward embracing lighter, freer modes of being through gradual expansion of emotional capacity and nervous system regulation. Embracing imperfection and authenticity allows for fuller self-expression and presence in life beyond survival modes. The episode discusses how spiritual pursuits can sometimes serve as an unconscious form of emotional bypassing, avoiding the often messy inner work required of embodiment and integration. True spiritual growth depends upon felt safety within the body and nervous system regulation. Expanding consciousness, paradoxically, requires grounding rather than escape, allowing individuals to fully inhabit their humanity and transcendence simultaneously. Dr. LePera and the host reflect on the evolving process of becoming one's true self, not as a static identity or concept, but as an ongoing practice of embodiment. This involves embracing all parts, including vulnerabilities and imperfections, and actively living out the unique energetic imprint of who one is, including navigating interpersonal feedback and growth with openness and grace. Closing the discussion, Dr. LePera offers an inspiring message about the transformative potential of inner child work. Each moment of awareness and conscious choice creates ripples beyond the individual, contributing to mental, emotional, and physical well-being, healthier relationships, and positive multi-generational change. She emphasizes that no change is ever too late to start, and that healing can be a profound gift to oneself and future generations.